Welcome, beautiful soul. You're watching Grace Over 50, where we honor the power, elegance, and individuality that only comes with time, and where every conversation we share helps redefine what it truly means to grow older with grace. Today, we're exploring a question that might seem small, even superficial, but for so many women, it carries years of weight, emotion, and quiet hesitation. Have you ever stood in front of the mirror and thought, should I cut my hair? Not because you're bored with it, not because you want to change, but because somewhere along the line, someone told you, or you just somehow absorbed the idea that women over a certain age should not wear long hair. It's funny how deep that message goes, isn't it? Sometimes it comes from a well-meaning friend. Sometimes it's a stylist who says short is more appropriate at your age. Sometimes it's no one at all, just a whisper in your own mind that says, you're not that woman anymore. But what if you are? What if that woman with long hair, the one you see in old photos, the one who used to feel the wind in her hair, who used to laugh and flip it over her shoulder, what if she's still here? What if she never left? Here at Grace Over 50, we believe that beauty isn't about conforming to someone else's timeline. It's about returning to yourself. It's about feeling beautiful on your own terms, not because of what someone says you should look like, but because you know how you feel when you see your reflection and say, that's me. So in today's video, we're going to gently unravel this long-held belief that long hair has an expiration date. We're going to look at where this idea came from, who it served, and why so many women have felt pressured to let go of something they loved simply because of their age. We'll talk about how hair, especially long hair, carries memory, femininity, and identity. About how it's not just about style, but about how you see yourself in the mirror and in the world. And yes, we'll explore the practical side too, how long hair looks on different face shapes, how to keep it healthy after 60, and why some women find that growing their hair again is one of the most empowering things they've done in years. But most importantly, we'll talk about choice. Your choice, because that's what matters most. And if anything I say today resonates with you, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever been told to cut your hair because of your age? Have you ever felt unsure about keeping it long? Or maybe have you grown it back and felt like you found a part of yourself again? Leave a comment below and share your story. Here on Grace Over 50, your voice is part of what makes this space feel so real, and you never know who your story might inspire. And if these kinds of conversations speak to you, if you feel seen here, I'd be honored if you'd subscribe. We're building something beautiful together, one voice, one truth, one sisterhood at a time. And as we move forward, if there's a topic close to your heart, something you wish more women would talk about, or something you wish you had answers to, tell me. Your insights shape the future of this channel more than anything else. So take a breath, relax your shoulders. This is your time, your story isn't over, your beauty isn't behind you, and your long hair. It might just be part of the woman you've been becoming all along. Let's begin. So how did we get here? How did we arrive at a place where the length of a woman's hair could quietly become a symbol of her worthiness, maturity, or respectability? To answer that, we need to look back, not just at our own lives, but at the stories that shaped our mothers and their mothers before them. There was a time, not too long ago, when being a proper woman meant being neat, quiet, and modest. In the 1950s and 60s, the golden age of home magazines and tightly set hair, the idea of what a respectable older woman looked like was clear and rigid. She wore dresses that covered her knees, she smiled politely, she cooked well, and her hair, it was short, tidy, controlled. Long hair was for the young, for rebels, for the untamed. It was flirtatious, feminine, sexual. And once a woman had raised her children, grown into her serious years, society quietly told her, that's enough now, cut it off. Not for comfort, not because it suited her better, but because it signaled to the world that she understood her place, that she had become invisible politely. And perhaps the most unsettling part of all this, no one really asked her how she felt. No one said, do you still love the way your long hair feels when the breeze touches it? Do you feel beautiful with it? Does it still feel like you? They just assumed that after a certain age, a woman's joy, her softness, her sensuality, her self-expression should quietly shrink to fit the space society was willing to give her. But here's the truth. That space was always too small. And here on Grace Over 50, we're gently but firmly pushing those walls outward. Because if a rule was created to make women less visible, then breaking it is not vanity. It's reclamation. It's saying, I see myself, I matter, and I decide how I show up. And so maybe the question isn't, should older women wear long hair? Maybe the real question is, why were we ever told not to? I'd love to hear your perspective on this. Were you ever told that long hair was inappropriate past a certain age? Did someone, even with good intentions, suggest that it was time to let go of it? Leave me a comment and let me know. Your story might be the very one that gives another woman permission to say, I'm not done with my long hair because I'm not done with myself. And if this message feels important, if you know someone who might need to hear it, consider sharing this video. One quiet act of encouragement can change the way someone sees herself. Here on Grace Over 50, we grow stronger together. So if you feel this conversation belongs in your life, in your heart, or in your week, I invite you to subscribe. Let's keep showing up for each other, one truth at a time. Now, take a moment. Think back to a time when your hair was long and you loved it, really loved it. Was it the way it felt on your shoulders, the way it moved when you danced? The way you felt when someone ran their hands through it and said, you look beautiful? That feeling didn't belong to a younger you. It belonged to the real you, and she's still here, still radiant, still powerful, still worthy of taking up space with softness and strength and strands that fall freely if you choose. Because your age may grow, but your permission to feel beautiful, that never expires. And now that we've begun unraveling the old story, let's look more closely at one of the biggest fears women have about long hair. Does it actually make us look older, or is that just another myth that's ready to fall away? Of course, once you start to peel back the layers of this story, there's always another question waiting underneath. But doesn't long hair make you look older? That's the fear, isn't it? It's not always something someone says out loud. Sometimes it's just a quiet voice in our heads, one we've heard for years. Long hair drags your face down. It exaggerates your wrinkles. It's only flattering when you're young. But let's pause. Let's really look at that. Because here on Grace Over 50, we don't accept surface answers, we look deeper. And the truth is, the problem was never the length of your hair. It's how you feel in it. It's how it's cared for. It's how it carries your energy, not your age. Just like clothes, long hair can be elegant or exhausting depending on how it's styled and how it reflects your essence. A tailored jacket that fits beautifully enhances your shape. But that same jacket, if it's sagging, wrinkled, or not really you, will never feel right. Hair works the same way. If it's long but neglected, dry, limp, shapeless, it can weigh your whole presence down. But if it's healthy, shiny, and styled with intention, even in the most natural way, it can frame your face, soften your features, and move with a kind of grace no shortcut ever could. Think of two women in their 60s. Both have long hair, but one lets it hang flat and lifeless, no layers, no movement. The other has a gentle wave, soft face-framing shape, perhaps silver with a touch of light. It glows, and so does she. They're the same age, same length. The difference isn't the hair, it's the presence. Because what truly ages us isn't length, it's disconnection. It's letting go of what makes us feel like ourselves. It's believing we have to blend in, dim down, disappear a little more with each year. But you're not here to disappear. You're here to show up softly, boldly, beautifully, just as you are. And when your hair moves as you move. When it reflects your light instead of muting it. It's not aging, it's ageless. Some stylists, the really wise ones, will even say that long hair, when done right, can be more youthful than a harsh shortcut. Why? Because it adds softness around the face. Because it creates movement and dimension. Because it offers versatility. Tie it up, let it down, twist it, braid it, all of it says, this is still mine, I still get to play. So if you've ever been told that long hair is aging, maybe it's time to ask. Was it the hair, or was it the fear? I would love to hear how you feel about this. Have you ever been hesitant to grow your hair because you worried it might make you look older? Or maybe you surprised yourself, you let it grow and realized it did just the opposite? Drop me a note in the comments. Your voice makes Grace Over 50 what it is. And your story could be the one that shifts someone else's belief about her own beauty. You're not here to follow rules, you're here to remember what makes you feel most you. And if that happens to be a braid down your back or soft waves on your shoulders, then let it be. Because glowing, truly glowing, doesn't come from looking young. It comes from choosing joy over and over again. And if your hair is one of the things that brings you joy, why would you ever let that go? It's easy to talk about style. It's even easy to talk about trends, rules, and what's flattering. But what's not easy is talking about what long hair actually means to many of us. Because for some women, hair isn't just hair. It's memory, it's identity, it's the last thing they had control over when everything else was shifting. Hair has been there through joy, through grief, through motherhood, through heartbreak. And for so many women, letting it grow long again isn't a beauty decision, it's a return to softness, to self. To the girl inside who once ran wild in the wind, hair flying like freedom. Maybe you remember her. The young version of yourself who used to braid her hair before school. Or the one who let it fall loose on summer nights, laughing until her stomach hurt. The one who looked in the mirror and didn't ask, "Is this appropriate?" She just felt beautiful, and then life happened. Careers, families, expectations. The world asked us to be responsible, efficient, polished, and somewhere along the way, many of us quietly cut it all off. Not just the length, but the wildness, the softness, the expression. Some women did it gladly. Others did it because they felt like they had to. But now something's shifting. More and more women are letting it grow again, not to look younger, but to remember who they are. One woman told me, "When I let my hair grow past my shoulders again in my 60s, I felt like I could breathe. Like I had taken back a part of myself that I hadn't even realized I'd lost." Another said it wasn't about vanity, it was about finally doing something for me. And that's the heart of it, isn't it? Long hair isn't about holding onto youth, it's about holding onto yourself. It's a reminder that we don't have to harden just because we've grown older. We can still be soft, still be sensual, still be free. And if growing your hair is your quiet rebellion, your way of saying, "I'm still me," then I say, let it grow, let it remind you of who you've been and who you still are becoming. I'd love to know. Have you ever felt that emotional connection to your hair? Have you ever cut it and felt a piece of yourself go with it? Or let it grow and felt yourself come back? Leave me a comment and share your story truly. Here at Grace Over 50, your truth makes this space feel like home. And I read every word because your voice matters here. It always will. And if you're watching this and quietly thinking, "I've been wanting to grow it, but I wasn't sure if I could," this is your sign, not from a stylist, not from a trend, from someone who sees you. From someone who knows that sometimes growing your hair again is the beginning of growing back into yourself. And yes, it might look different now. Maybe it's silver, maybe it's thinner, maybe it's wilder than you remember. But that doesn't mean it's less beautiful. In fact, maybe it's more beautiful now because now it comes with story. Now it's a choice made not for anyone else but for you. So take your time. Let it be slow, gentle, loving. Because this isn't about proving anything. This is about remembering. And what a powerful thing it is to remember who you've always been. And now that we've talked about memory and meaning, let's shift gently into something a bit more practical, but no less personal. Because if you're feeling drawn to wear your hair long again, you might also be wondering, will it suit me now? What length, what shape, how do I make it work for who I am today? And those are good questions. Not because beauty has rules, but because understanding yourself helps everything fall into place more gracefully. You see, long hair isn't just about length, it's about intention. And when it's shaped to reflect your face, your texture, your rhythm, it feels less like a trend and more like truth. So if you're exploring this journey, here are a few gentle reflections to help you find what feels right. If you have a round face, long hair can be beautifully flattering, especially with soft layers that draw the eye downward. Avoid anything that stops right at your chin. It can make your face appear shorter. Instead, gentle waves or long framing pieces can create a lovely vertical flow, like a visual breath. If your face is more square or angular, long hair with texture can add softness. A bit of movement around the jawline helps ease the strength in your features. Think relaxed curls, loose waves, or even a messy low bun, not to hide anything, but to balance and honor it. If your face is long or narrow, too much length with no volume can feel like it pulls you downward. So play with width, add a soft side-swept bang, or embrace a bit of curl or bounce around the sides. Hair isn't here to weigh you down, it's here to lift your expression. And if you have an oval face, well, you've been given the most flexible canvas. Let that inspire you. From shoulder grazing layers to waist-length waves, almost everything works, as long as you feel reflected in the mirror. Now let's talk texture, because as we age, hair changes. It may become finer, drier, more fragile, but that doesn't mean long hair is out of reach. It just means it asks to be approached with a little more gentleness. If your hair is fine, long layers can give it shape without thinning it further. Stay away from heavy products, go for volume-enhancing mists or lightweight mousse that add lift without stickiness. If your hair is coarse, curly, or full of character, embrace the weight of length. Long hair can help manage volume and define wave patterns. A bit of layering and moisture will keep it full of life without becoming unruly. And if your hair is something in between, a little wavy, a little unpredictable, let it live. Long, tousled hair that moves freely has a kind of effortless beauty that no product can manufacture. Most importantly, no matter your face or your texture. Don't mistake long for shapeless. Long hair still needs structure. Even a subtle face framing cut or a light trim every few months can make all the difference in how it flows and how it feels. And let's not forget color. Some women choose to celebrate their natural silver and long gray hair when healthy can look absolutely regal. Others add warmth, light, or subtle highlights to complement their skin tone as it shifts. There's no wrong way, only your way. I know this may feel like a lot of information, but take what speaks to you and leave the rest. Let your hair and your heart guide your choice, not a rule book. And if you're trying to decide what might work best for you, I'd love to know, what kind of hair do you have now? What's held you back from growing it out? And what would help you feel confident trying something new? Share with me in the comments. So many women who watch Grace Over 50 find their courage through stories like yours. And if there's something you'd love to see more of, specific tips, deeper conversations, or maybe even styling tutorials, tell me that too. This channel is shaped by your voice, and your wisdom makes it better, fuller, and more real. So if you're thinking about growing your hair long, start with what's true for you. Your face is already beautiful. Your hair is just another way to frame what's already shining through. Now that we've explored what style might suit your beautiful face and your unique texture, let's take a moment to talk about something just as important. How do you care for long hair, not as a task, not as a chore, but as a quiet act of self-respect? Because the truth is, hair in our 60s and beyond asks for something different. Not perfection, not maintenance for the sake of appearances, but something softer, more tender, more intentional. It's no longer about doing what we should. It's about creating small rituals that reconnect us with ourselves. Let's begin with the simplest truth: hydration. As we age, our scalps naturally produce less oil. That doesn't mean we've failed, it just means our bodies have shifted. And our hair, especially when it's long, needs a little extra nourishment to stay soft, supple, and luminous. A sulfate-free shampoo, a gentle, creamy conditioner, a deep mask once a week, these aren't just products. They're kindness. They're a way of saying, I still matter, I still deserve softness. And it's not just about the strands, it's about the root. Quite literally, your scalp is living skin, it needs love too. A few minutes of slow, circular massage when you wash or even dry with your fingertips. It stimulates circulation. It wakes up your follicles, but more than that, it wakes up you. It brings you back to the present, to your breath, to your body. And while we're speaking of care, let's not forget trimming. Not to make your hair shorter, but to keep it thriving. Split ends, if left alone, can travel up the shaft and create breakage, not because you're aging, but because hair is alive and it needs tending. Every 6 to 8 weeks, a tiny trim, even just the tips, keeps your shape intentional and your energy clear. And what about heat? Here's where we offer ourselves a little more forgiveness. If you love using a curling iron or flat iron, by all means do it, but protect it. Use a heat protectant. Let your hair air dry when you can. Embrace the messy bun, the soft braid, the loose twist, effortless styles that say, "I'm not trying. I'm simply me." And please don't forget this, your hair begins from within. What you eat, how you rest, whether you stay hydrated, all of it whispers into your hair's health. Protein, omega-3s, B vitamins, iron, these aren't just nutrients. They're your body's love language to your hair. Water, especially, is a quiet miracle. Drink deeply. Not just for your skin, not just for your energy, but for that subtle shine that comes from within. Now let's talk texture. Maybe your hair is baby fine, maybe it's thick and coarse, maybe it's somewhere in between and changes with the seasons. Whatever it is, honor it, don't fight your hair. Listen to it, fine hair, avoid weighing it down. Think light mists, volumizing sprays, dry texture powders. Coarse or curly, let it grow long enough to find its natural weight and use creams and oils that lock in softness. Wavy and unpredictable, embrace it. That's your hair's personality and it's beautiful. And above all, be gentle, brush from the ends upward. Use a wide tooth comb, a soft paddle brush your hands, don't yank, don't rush. Let detangling be an invitation, not an obligation. Because long hair after 60 doesn't require hours of effort or drawers full of products. What it truly needs is consistency, patience, and love. It's not about looking like you're in your 30s again. It's about feeling connected to the woman you've become, to the rituals that remind you she is worthy of care. And when you treat your hair not as something to tame, but as something sacred, something that holds memory, emotion, softness, then every stroke of the brush becomes a quiet act of grace. You're not managing your hair, you're tending to a part of your story, and that, my friend, is not maintenance. That is devotion. And perhaps what says it best are the women themselves, because sometimes the most powerful wisdom doesn't come from books or studies, but from the quiet strength of women who have lived it. Women like Eleanor, 72, living among the tall pines of Oregon. Her long silver braid falls down her back like a river of memory. When asked why she never cut it, she simply said, "It reminds me of who I've always been. Gentle, strong, and a little wild." Her hair has seen decades, births, losses, laughter, solitude. And she's not ready to say goodbye to it, because to her, it's not rebellion, it's remembrance. Then there's Lisa, 67. A retired nurse from North Carolina. She wore her hair short for decades, professional, practical, easy. But the moment she stopped working, she let it grow, and something shifted. "I always thought long hair wasn't for women like me," she said. "But when I stopped listening to the rules, I found freedom. I feel more beautiful now than I did in my 40s because now I'm doing it for me." And maybe that's what makes it so powerful, not the length, but the intention. And then there's Janine, 75, a grandmother of 6. She wears her long white hair loose with soft waves and a floral scarf. "My grandkids say I look like a storybook queen," she laughs. "But the truth is, I just feel more myself this way, and that's what I want them to remember. Not a woman who gave in, but a woman who grew into herself fully." You see, for so many of us, this isn't about trying to look young. It's about choosing not to disappear. It's about honoring the softness we still carry, the fire we still hold, the stories we're still writing. And whether you choose to wear your hair long, short, curly, braided, silver, or bold, the most important thing is that it still feels like you. So the next time you hear that whisper, "Should I cut it?" pause, ask yourself, do I still feel beautiful when I wear it long? Do I still feel like me? And if the answer is yes, then you don't need permission, you already have it. You are not too old, you are not too late, you are not past the moment. You are the moment. If this message touched something in you, I would truly love to hear from you. Leave a comment, share your story, because the women who read them, they don't just scroll. They listen, they learn, they feel less alone. And if you know someone, a sister, a friend, a mother, or maybe yourself who's been quietly wondering, am I allowed to still feel beautiful? Share this video with her. Because here on Grace Over 50, we're not just talking about hair. We're talking about freedom, about identity, about choosing again and again to be fully, unapologetically you. If this space feels like home, I'd be honored if you'd subscribe. There's so much more to explore together, so many quiet rules to let go of, and so many radiant truths waiting to be rediscovered. Until next time, stay bold, stay beautiful, and most of all, stay you.